Hi Gemini, welcome to your week ahead tarot with me, Raphael from Reydiant Reality. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for joining me. If you haven't already, please don't forget to like, share, and if you should so choose and it resonates, hit that subscribe button. If you are already a continued subby, you know I love you for it. With that said, if you would like to book a personal reading with me, you will have to wait because my website is undergoing some much needed TLC. With that said as well, if you haven't seen it, myself and Heather from Astrology with Heather did a webinar. It's a donations-based webinar for the next 6 years. There's some pretty amazing stuff that comes up in that. If you want to get it, you can get that in the link in the description box below. And like I said, it's donations-based, so you can pay whatever you want, whatever works for you. You really want to check it out because there's stuff that we don't talk about anywhere else. With that said, I would like to bless my deck of cards with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity and abundance, and I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise and they help you on your path to your highest vibrational good. So you've got two cards that have jumped out. One is face down and one is upside, so that's going to be your first card. But before that, we have the Justice card as your key to the week. So this week it kind of feels like you're ready, right? There's this sense of maybe not like necessarily having a battle, but this is about you sticking in for something. This is about you being ready, and it's about you kind of saying, no, you know what? I am going in this direction. This is about a path that you have chosen, that you are refusing to back down. Come what may, no matter who it is, no matter what it is. This is about you standing tall, standing proud, and saying, this is what I'm doing, or this is the way that I'm going. This feels for me like in some way, shape or form, you are claiming your path this week, and it's like, come what may, I don't care. I'm prepared to go above and beyond for this. Like anything and anyone that challenges you this week, I kind of feel like that's where you're at with it, which is amazing because it means that you're using a lot of the current energies to your advantage already, which is very, very powerful. For your actions and options, you have the Three of Cups. Now, I love this card because it's about fun, it's about enjoyment, it's about get-togethers. It tells me that when it comes to friendships, when it comes to maybe even for some of you personal relationships, there is a real sense here that you are committing to more enjoyment. It's kind of like you're saying, you know what? I'm going to fight for this. I'm going to fight for my friendship, my relationship. I'm going to fight for the life that I want, right? This is about you being very clear this week, very focused on what you do want, on where it is that you perceive yourself to be going in life, and really just being very determined or very committed to having more fun, to enjoying your life more. It's kind of like, I feel like a lot of you are saying, you know what, it's been a really hard year. I've had a really tough time of it for a while. Certainly the last few months we've seen this, right? And it's kind of like you're saying, no, you know what, I'm chucking that out. I veto that decision. Universe, thank you for the challenges, but now I'm ready for something else, and this is what you're going after. Fair play to you, Libra. I love it. Libra, Gemini. Because I was looking at the Justice card. For your communications and conversations, yeah, look at this, right? You've got the Witch card, which is actually the Magician. Well, it's not, it's the Witch, right? But you get my point. That's the correspondence. And this is in your communications and conversations. This is about you showing up truly as who you are. It's about you speaking your truth, being honest and open. It's about you taking everything and anything that you are connected to or involved with to the highest degree that you possibly can. This is about you owning yourself, claiming yourself. For a lot of you, this could be about some sort of literary work. It could be about something that you have wanted to create or do for a long time. It looks like when it comes to communications this week as well, you are very focused on creating the life that you want, the life that you choose. And it kind of feels like that as well. It's like this week, it's almost like you're exercising your power to choose what it is that you want in your life. And it's kind of like you're saying, you know what, I'm in control, I'm in charge. And this week as well, one thing that you might want to, usually Libra likes to play that supporting role. Whereas this week, I actually feel like the mantle of the, you know, the figurehead is going to be thrust upon you. I actually feel like this is going to be the week where you are, what's the word? where you're up front and center, where you're claiming it as well. There's a part of this that's like, no, you know what? I'm going to go for the top spot. I'm usually the person that plays piggy in the middle, that tries to balance things out and to, you know, make sure that everybody's in the right space at the right time. Whereas your witch card, because remember, Gemini has that ambidextrous sort of energy to it, right, where you can flip from one thing to another or one side to the other. And this card is Mercury ruled, so this is going to see you really paying attention this week to not only the things that you're saying, but also how you show up for yourself. This is about you presenting your own expertise in some way that you haven't up until now. I'd be really interested to see what it is that you guys are saying, doing, or talking about. For your money and materials, you have the Seven of Cups. So this week, you could have a little bit of an element of champagne taste, but beer money, right? And trust me, honey, I feel you. I'm joking. But that could be the case. You know, it kind of feels like there's something that you want, and it could be that you're so determined to have a good time or to enjoy yourself that this week you're just like, no, you know what? Yeah, I'm throwing caution to the wind along with my credit card or my financial sense, and I'm just going to go for it and I'm going to enjoy myself. And actually, I think in many ways that's a good thing, because you're not being ruled by, you know, what you can't do or what you don't have. But it does feel like you could be not necessarily punching above your weight, but you could be, you know, you could be a bit more frivolous with your money this week than you kind of care to admit at the time. And it may be a bit of a problem later on. So just try to curb your spending this week. For your physical body, it just looks like real sort of either overindulgence, maybe you're drinking too much. You could have an absolute blast this week with friends, with co-workers. You could really be the life and soul of the party, but you might regret it with either a hangover or a hangover style hangover. If you've ever seen that film, hilarious. Or, you know, maybe not only are you hungover, but then you see your bank account and you're like, oh crap. So this week that energy is definitely there. Like I said, you could be having an absolutely fantastic time, but you know, that's going to be tempered with you know, as high up as you go, you're going to crash at some point. All right. And when it comes to your environment, again, this is an interesting one, because it looks like it's kind of like this week it's going to feel like more is less. So you might sort of focus on, you know, inviting 1 million people round, and then at one point be like, okay, what have I done? So just try to temper that this week. You know, pleasure for its own sake is a beautiful thought, but excess of anything is excess of anything. All right. For your love and relations, you've got the Four of Swords. So the message here is, you need to cool it a little bit. For those of you that are just getting into something, is it moving too quickly? For those of you that are just getting into something, are you, maybe it's moving too slow. You know, for some of you on the opposite end of the spectrum, maybe it's moving too slow, and there's a part of you that's like, well, maybe they're not interested. And I actually feel like the one of the issues that you might have is you're like full on this week, and the other person might be like, oh wow, okay, yeah, so we're all in, which is not necessarily a bad thing. For those of you that are partnered, again, just, you know, this isn't about checking in with your partner or, you know, letting somebody know your every move. It's just about saying, look, if I'm going to take a sharp left swerve, I want to let everybody in the vehicle know that that is the case, right? And it's the same with a relationship. If you're suddenly going to go from, you know, 0 to 60 in 3 seconds, make sure everyone's aware, right? Because otherwise you're going to get whiplash. So take that analogy and factor it into your own lifescape. With that said, I wish you an abundance of all of that good stuff. Have a fantastic week. Let me know in the comments how it shapes up. Take care, and I'll see you soon.